Chosen one, this Friday, I am calling you to pause in the middle of everything, demanding your attention and listen to what has quietly been prepared for you. This is not pressure meant to make you afraid, nor an announcement intended to keep you tense while waiting for some unexpected event. I simply want you to step outside the hurried rhythm of life. Lay down the thoughts pulling you in too many directions, and return to the peace you lost during days when you continually had to be strong. Some things cannot be recognized while you are constantly running after deadlines, responsibilities, and voices insisting that you do more. Try harder and endure longer. Therefore, this Friday becomes a precious pause in which you can hear clearly that you are still seen, still protected, and still being guided toward a road more meaningful than you once imagined. I saw every step you took during days when no one truly understood what you were carrying. I know the mornings when you awakened with a mind full of worry, the hours when you continued fulfilling responsibilities even though your strength was nearly gone, and the nights when you sat in silence wondering when life would finally become lighter. You prayed not only through words, but also through your effort to remain honest in difficult circumstances. Some prayers became nothing more than a sigh. Some hopes were never shared because you feared they would sound unrealistic. And some dreams were buried deeply because you could not yet see a road toward them. But, my beloved, what has not yet appeared has not been forgotten. What is sincere within you is still being nurtured quietly. This Friday, I want you to understand that a new door may begin opening through inward clarity before outward circumstances change. You may recognize that a job no longer fits, that a habit is weakening you, or that a relationship continually requires you to diminish yourself. You may see clearly what needs to begin, what needs to end, and what requires further patience. Do not underestimate these realizations. A new life does not always begin through a dramatic event. Sometimes it begins in the moment when you decide to stop betraying your peace merely to please others. When the way you choose changes, the road gradually changes with it. Imagine a door before you that was hidden beneath years of doubt. Light is beginning to pass through a narrow opening, not to overwhelm you, but to show you the next step gently. I do not require you to see the whole road before moving. You need only remain faithful to the light you already have. If you know you need rest, stop condemning yourself for being tired. If words need to be spoken, speak them sincerely and gently. If you recognize an opportunity worth exploring, prepare carefully instead of disqualifying yourself before trying. This door is not opening so that you can escape your present life, but so that you can enter a wiser, more orderly way of living that agrees with the person you have grown to become. I know the world around you moves quickly. Bills continue arriving. Deadlines draw near. Responsibilities remain before you. And outside voices still make you feel that you are never doing enough. Even within you, there may be a harsh voice continually reminding you of what you have not achieved, former mistakes, and people who seem to have traveled farther. But this Friday, I want you to stop measuring worth by speed. You have not failed merely because you need more time. You are not behind simply because another person's road is more visible. A tree with deep roots often takes longer to rise, but that depth enables it to remain standing when strong winds come. Your quiet months have been building a foundation that will not easily be shaken. Your faithfulness during difficult seasons was never meaningless. Every time you chose integrity when dishonesty appeared easier, you protected something precious within yourself. Every time you refused to answer harm with cruelty, you prevented another person from deciding who you would become. Every day, you continued doing what was right without receiving recognition. You developed character that fame could never provide. I do not see you merely through outward accomplishments. I see the way you rise after disappointment, preserve compassion after betrayal, and learn to establish boundaries without losing kindness. These are the things preparing you for a wider door. Even so, remain discerning when opportunity appears. Not every open door leads where you need to go, and not every attractive invitation brings lasting peace. Observe whether an opportunity respects your dignity, time, and values. Ask whether it helps you grow, allows you to use your abilities well, and creates a sustainable foundation. What fits may require courage beyond what is familiar, but it will not force you to betray integrity. Genuine guidance does not create panic, pressure you to decide through confusion, or require you to harm others in order to advance. This Friday is also a time to allow burdens that do not belong to you to be laid down. You tried to rescue too many people, solve too many problems, and carry responsibility for those who needed to mature for themselves. You did this through kindness. But kindness, without boundaries, repeatedly exhausted you. I want you to understand that love does not always mean saying yes. Sometimes a refusal is protection. Distance is healing. And silence keeps you from a useless argument. You were not created to become a place where everyone continually empties their chaos and then leaves without caring what remains within you. Give yourself a quiet space during this day. You do not need a complicated ritual or signs that make your mind more confused. Sit down, breathe slowly, and look honestly at your life. Ask what is stealing peace, what needs care, and what you already know. You must do, but continue postponing through fear. Clarity often does not come when you force an answer. It appears when you stop avoiding the truth. The first answer may be small, a call that must be made, a plan that needs to be written, an expense that should be reorganized, or a relationship that must be reconsidered. Do not despise small steps, because many significant transformations are built through simple but consistent choices. Michael, I am near during this transition to remind you that the confusion surrounding you does not define you. You are not your unpaid bills, your current title, or the judgments of people who never understood the road you walked. You are someone who learned to remain steady while circumstances were unclear. Continue without guarantees, and preserve gentleness amid things that could have hardened your heart. These qualities are the light you carry, not so that you can stand above others, but so that peace can spread through your presence. If Friday does not bring a spectacular event like the one you once imagined, do not immediately conclude that nothing is happening. It may simply be the day when a seed is planted, a decision begins to form, or an old perspective changes. Deep transition is rarely completed in one moment. It takes root in the way you begin speaking to yourself more kindly. Refuse to return to what once caused pain, and remain faithful in small matters even when no one notices. One day, you will recognize that your whole direction changed, not because life transformed overnight, but because you consistently chose clarity one day at a time. Therefore, enter Friday with an open heart, but without haste. With hope, while preserving wisdom. Do your part. Care for what has been entrusted. And do not allow noise to make you overlook peace. The new door is not a promise that every difficulty will disappear. It is an opportunity to enter difficulty as someone more mature, steady, and less easily controlled by fear. Be still, my beloved, because within that stillness you will recognize that I never left you. You are being guided, not through commotion, but through small lights sufficient to illuminate each step. As you continue moving through courage, this Friday may become the threshold where you stop living beneath former limitations and begin building a peaceful, purposeful future worthy of every good thing planted within you. My beloved, a great trial does not come to prove that you are weak, but to reveal the strength I quietly placed within you long ago. Some people see only what you lost, the times you were pushed to your limits, and the months when it seemed there was nowhere to rest. But I see something deeper. Under every pressure, you did not allow your heart to become cold. You could have turned away from trust, allowed disappointment to become resentment, or used injury as a reason to injure others. But you did not choose that road. Even when exhausted, confused, and tearful, you preserved one small light within yourself, enough to take another step. That small light carried you through places you once believed you could never cross. Remember Job, who endured a succession of losses until every familiar foundation seemed to collapse at once. He was not always calm. He experienced pain, asked questions, and could not understand why he had to pass through such a severe season. Yet what was precious was that suffering did not completely remove his trust. His journey did not turn him into someone without emotion. It showed that mature trust does not exist only when everything is favorable. The same is true for you. I do not measure your strength by whether you ever cried, but by your ability to return to truth after being shaken. You did not fail simply because you felt weak on certain days. You overcame each time you refused to let one dark day determine your entire future. What you recently endured did more than test endurance. It revealed character. When no one recognized you, did you continue doing what was right? When others misunderstood you, did you preserve calmness or let anger lead? When unfavorable circumstances accumulated, did you continue believing that rebuilding was possible? These questions cannot be answered merely through words. They are answered through the way you live, and you answered through many small choices. You rose when you wanted to remain down, continued responsibilities without motivation, refused to answer every provocation, and repeatedly chose silence to protect peace rather than entering an argument that produced nothing good. No one could see every victory, but I saw them all. The light within you shines, not because you never entered darkness, but because darkness could not turn you into part of itself. You passed through disappointment while preserving hope, through betrayal without losing the ability to love, and through loneliness without abandoning the desire to become a source of comfort. This is a strength deeper than outward appearance. Many people appear strong while surrounded by favorable circumstances. But genuine strength is revealed when someone remains kind in situations that could easily make them bitter. You did not allow what happened to decide how you would treat the world. Therefore, difficult months could not steal your dignity. compassion, or ability to begin again. I know you sometimes wondered why your road appeared more complicated than the paths of others. You watched some people receive what they desired quickly while you had to wait. Learn again, and repeatedly begin from the start. You believed, perhaps, you had been left behind or lacked something, causing life to feel so heavy. But, my beloved, do not use another person's speed to judge your journey. Some roads are longer because they are leading toward deeper responsibility. Some seasons slow down because you need a foundation strong enough that you will not lose yourself when more is entrusted. I do not make your path difficult merely to display authority. I use what life places before you to teach discernment, patience, and the truth that worth does not depend upon one temporary result. Yet do not assume that every suffering was sent by me, or that you must remain in harmful circumstances to prove faithfulness. I do not delight in seeing you crushed, nor call you to continue enduring an unhealthy environment. Some trials require you to stand, but some places require you to leave courageously. Wisdom lies in recognizing the difference. If a relationship repeatedly insults dignity, a job destroys your health without hope of improvement, or someone uses affection to control you, leaving is not surrender. It may be the way you protect the good that has been entrusted. You do not need to seek more hardship in order to become noble. You need only use what you learned so that you do not return to former cycles. Look at Moses, who once lived among power and then entered a completely different season. The wilderness gave him no recognition, but taught him listening, patience, and care for small responsibilities. When leadership came, he entered not only with knowledge from the past, but with humility formed through years few people witnessed. Your road also contains stages like this. Perhaps you passed through a season when no one saw your abilities. No position allowed you to express them, and no recognition arrived as expected. Yet, those seemingly forgotten places taught lessons that will protect you when you enter a wider space. Your wilderness is not where you must remain forever. It is a classroom, not your final address. You learned how to live without much support, rise without applause, and keep your word without supervision. Now I want you to carry those lessons forward, instead of building a home inside former pain. Stop naming yourself according to failure. Stop viewing the future through the eyes of someone who was rejected. You have matured, gained discernment, and no longer grant every surrounding voice the authority to direct you. What once terrified, you may now serve only as a reminder of how far you have come. You do not leave trials as someone without wounds, but as someone who learned how to care for injured places. You understand that healing takes time. Forgiveness does not require reopening every door, and kindness must walk with boundaries. These lessons will protect you in the next stage. You will no longer be easily captivated by promises without action. Call, control, love, or treat endless endurance as proof of loyalty. Growth has not made your heart hard. It has taught you to love with greater wisdom. Those around you may not yet understand the transformation taking place. They may continue seeing an old image of you, repeating former mistakes, and assuming you will always respond as before. You do not need to argue in order to prove them wrong. Let your new way of living answer. When words that once wounded you no longer provoke the same reaction. That is change. When you choose peace instead of winning every argument, That is change. When you say no without shame, admit a mistake without condemning yourself, and patiently rebuild, you become living evidence that the past does not possess you. I do not call you chosen so that you will consider yourself greater than others. I call you to awaken to the responsibility carried by your light. Someone who walked through darkness can recognize weariness in another person's eyes. Someone who was not heard can learn how to listen deeply. Someone who once had to rise alone can become a helping hand without making others feel weak. What you experienced gives you the ability to serve through understanding rather than judgment. This is how pain becomes purpose, not through denying it, but through refusing to let it stop with you. Therefore, my beloved, leave the season of trial with humility. Do not exalt yourself because you overcame, but do not deny the strength refined within you. Be grateful that your heart remained tender, even though you had many reasons to close it. Use discernment to choose companions, courage to enter what is new, and the memory of difficult days to treat the weary compassionately. You are no longer wandering within the wilderness. You carry a map written through lessons, perseverance, and repeated decisions to rise. What awaits is not a reward for someone who never made mistakes, but a new chapter for someone who learned how to mature through what could not be controlled. You will still face difficulty, but difficulty will no longer meet the same person. It will meet someone who knows who they are, understands when to remain and when to leave, and recognizes that one difficult day cannot erase an entire journey. Move forward in peace. My child, what tried to break you unintentionally revealed your strength. Lonely days taught you to stand. Tears made your heart deeper, and battles prepared you to enter a new land without forgetting how you were sustained. What you need to guard this Friday is not a loud disaster arriving from outside, but the focus, peace, and direction that small temptations are quietly trying to take from you. My beloved, I want you awake without panic, cautious without continual tension. The things most likely to move you away from your path rarely appear frightening. They come as an invitation to delay a little longer. An impulse to pick up your phone and allow hours to disappear. Or an old thought whispering that you are not good enough to begin. They may appear so ordinary that you fail to notice how strength, time, and clarity are being taken little by little. Therefore, what I am calling you to do is not battle an imaginary terror, but master small choices before they shape your entire day. Distraction will try to make you forget what you resolve to do. It may lead you back to a habit that once helped you avoid emotion but never truly healed it. When anxiety appears, you may want to fill silence with noise, seek recognition through a screen, or postpone important work because you fear the result will not be perfect. But remember that fear does not need to defeat you in one great battle. It only needs to persuade you continually to move an important step into tomorrow. One day of delay may appear insignificant, but repeated delay can become the cord binding you to the very place from which you prayed to be released. Therefore, this Friday, do one thing you already know needs to be done. Begin before you feel completely ready, because clarity often comes after the first step rather than before it. I am not requiring you to complete everything in one day. I want you to move intentionally and refuse to allow time to be swept away by what brings no life. When you awaken, spend a quiet moment arranging your thoughts before the noise of the world enters. Identify the most important thing that needs completion. Then give it the best part of your energy. If rest is needed, rest intentionally instead of calling avoidance rest. If you feel confused, write down what you know clearly instead of circling through hundreds of events that have not happened. A stable life is not built through rare bursts of intensity, but through many small choices performed faithfully when no one sees. You passed through seasons far more difficult than one distracting day. You faced losses without knowing how recovery would happen. You endured rejection that caused you to doubt worth, and failures that made every plan seem meaningless. Yet you remain here today, not because everything was easy, but because something within you continually refused to allow hardship to write the final sentence. Each time you rose, you carried another layer of wisdom. Every time you began again, you became less dependent upon circumstances. You are no longer the person who allowed one small event to pull you into many days of despair. Growth is helping you recognize what needs to be addressed, what should be released, and what does not deserve another minute of your peace. This Friday may not change your entire life through one event, but it may become the marker where you stop living through former reactions. When others see confusion, you can pause and identify what truly matters. When people around you become trapped in fear, you can preserve calm words and wise action. When an unexpected circumstance appears, you do not need to imagine the worst result immediately. Remind yourself that you survived things that once appeared impossible, and the strength that helped you rise has never left. Peace does not mean knowing every outcome. It means refusing to let uncertainty steal your ability to think and choose. I also want you to understand that what is opening is not meant only to make your personal life more comfortable. Every form of growth carries broader responsibility. When you learn wise financial management, you can create stability for your family. When you heal from former cycles, you prevent them from passing to those who follow. When clarity returns, your words can help someone confused recognize a direction. The most meaningful form of success is not standing alone above everyone, but allowing what you receive to become support, opportunity, and hope for those around you. I do not merely want to lead you out of lack. I want to teach you how to build abundance without losing compassion. However, you do not need to carry responsibility for rescuing everyone. Becoming a blessing does not mean allowing every need of others to occupy your whole life. Help through discernment. Serve within healthy limits. And do not allow guilt to make you give what you do not have the capacity to give. Goodness can flow for a long time only when its source is protected. I want you to care for your health, time, and peace so that you do not become empty while trying to prove usefulness. A lamp cannot continue shining if its oil is continually taken and never restored. You need rest, stillness, and boundaries that preserve the strength within. Do your part, no matter how loud the noise becomes. Some people will not understand why you take seriously a dream they cannot yet see. Some will mock small beginnings because they judge a structure only after it is completed. You do not need to argue until they believe. Let discipline answer in place of words, and consistency build what temporary excitement never could. When you understand what must be done, the agreement of the crowd is no longer a condition for obedience. I am not asking you to ignore sincere advice, but you need to distinguish wisdom that helps you prepare more effectively from another person's fear attempting to shrink your vision. The greatest danger of this day is not missing a miracle because you failed to perform the correct ritual. I do not hold blessing as a reward, given only when you avoid every mistake. What you might miss is the opportunity to leave procrastination. Choose peace instead of anxiety, and begin the work placed within your heart. If you miss one moment, do not turn it into a reason to abandon the whole day. Return. If you become distracted, put the phone down and begin again. If you react through fear, pause. Breathe deeply and choose again. Strength is not found in never stepping away from the road. It lies in recognizing it and returning more quickly than before. You are different, not because you never fall, but because you learned not to remain where you fell. You do not run from every challenge, but neither must you enter every battle in order to prove courage. Sometimes confronting means speaking. Sometimes it means leaving. At other times, it means remaining silent so that you do not give energy to something, seeking only to pull you into confusion. Choose battles worthy of your strength. Do not exhaust yourself, explaining things to someone determined not to understand, repairing what does not belong to your responsibility, or pursuing doors that continually remove dignity. You are being prepared for something greater, and therefore your focus must be protected. This Friday, stand through specific actions, complete what you postponed. Speak what needs to be said calmly. Close a road that repeatedly emptied you, and give time to what genuinely builds the future. Do not wait for a powerful emotion before acting. Courage often appears while you are moving, and motivation frequently grows after you begin. I will not leave you without clarity for the next step, but you must accept responsibility for performing the step already revealed. Every intentional choice is a stone placed upon the new road, and each small stone carries you farther from the cycles that once kept you trapped. My beloved, the light within you does not need to burn loudly in order to prove its existence. It is seen when you preserve peace amid noise, kindness amid bitterness, and discipline amid easy temptations. This Friday is not a day for fear. It is an opportunity to recognize how much you have matured. Suitable doors will open at the right time, but today, prepare the person who will walk through them. Guard your focus. Pray sincerely, and move through wise choices. You were not led here in order to return to the version of yourself that continually surrendered to fear. You are ready to face the new day through calmness, purpose, and trust, refined through the many times you believed you could not continue and still rose.